Miss?
Pearl Adams. I work at Marty's saloon, kind of wait tables.
I know where you work, miss. Now, what happened tonight as you witnessed it?
Well, Frank, I mean, Mr. Keller, he invited me up to his room for a drink. There's nothing wrong in that, is there?
No.
There's nothing to be nervous about, Miss Adams.
I know that. It's just that, well, everything happened so fast. I mean, well, there was a knock on the door, and then Frank went out into the hall.
Mr. Hodges said Keller came out of the room gun drawn.
Gun drawn?
Yes, you said earlier that from the way Frank left the room, you just knew that there was going to be trouble. Now, wasn't that because he was carrying a gun?
Is that what he said? That Frank was carrying a gun? I mean, somebody saw Frank carrying a gun?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I guess that's the way it was. I mean, I was scared. Oh, I was just so scared. One minute we were just sitting there, and the next he was lying out there in the hall. I was just so scared.
I think we understand.
Thank you. You can go now, Miss Adams.
I'm sorry to have to get you out of bed, Jared, but I felt the need of a good lawyer and a good friend. You qualify on both counts.
I don't think you'll be needing a lawyer, Senator. We have an eyewitness account of what happened.
Then for the time being, that'll have to suffice.
Oh, Mr. Salazar, I can answer a few questions.
Not until you've checked with Washington, sir. These matters concern not only you personally, but perhaps the national security.
All right, gentlemen, I say this, and it'll have to do for now. Unless Washington absolutely forbids it, there will be a public inquest.
Oh, I'm sure that won't be necessary, Senator.
I insist on it. After all, my office does not give me the prerogative to go out and shoot people and sweep the facts and the body under a carpet as if neither were of any import. A human being is dead. The American people are entitled to know why.
Well, I don't think the sheriff had any intention of sweeping anything under the carpet, Judd.
Very well, we're in complete agreement. Right now, and this will be strictly between us gentlemen, I can say with reasonable certainty that Mr. Keller, not his right name, incidentally, was acting for certain people who are opposed to legislation I have recently introduced.
You're saying, then, that he was a paid assassin?
That's what I'm saying. And in a day or two, I'll be able to prove it.
Sir, if somebody's out to kill you, they may have hired more than one man.
No, they have. Two for certain. Jared, that ranch hand, whatever he calls himself.
Walt Tompkins, Sheriff.
I'll have one of my deputies right back with you, Senator.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. I don't think that'll be necessary. One assassination attempt an evening is all we can expect. I don't believe there'll be any more trouble.
Well, good night. And it's been a pleasure meeting you, sir.
Well, under the circumstances, I wish I could say the same thing. You're a good man. The country needs more like you.
Well, thank you, sir.
Sheriff, I asked you to check out all people with criminal records.
Oh, I have some of that information over in my office, Mr. Salazar, if you'd care to look at it.
Thank you very much. I'll see you back at the house, Senator.
Night, Jared.
Sheriff?
It's been quite an evening.
That it has.
You'll see the sun come up on the way back.
The whole thing seems so incredible, doesn't it, Judd?
I know it sounds incredible, but in big business, politics, millions of dollars at stake, human lives at stake, wars hanging in the balance, to hire a man to kill a senator is child's play.
Judd, if you suspected that Keller was an assassin, wouldn't it have been wiser to warn the sheriff to keep an eye on him?
I guess I'm used to doing things myself. Jared, I thought if I could talk to him, sound him out, I might be able to. Well, you know what happened. He came out of his room with his gun drawn and...
Yeah. Well, we better get back to the house. I think you can use some rest. Miss. Good morning. Are you leaving?
That's right.
I see. Well, may I? Tell me, does the district attorney know about this?
The district attorney knows nothing and wants to know even less.
You'll forgive me, but what's that supposed to mean?
Oh, come off it, Mr. Barkley. You're the senator's lawyer, his friend. You're part of it.
Part of what?
Never mind. I have to go.
Just a minute, young lady. I ask you a question, and I'd like an answer. Part of what? I want you to understand something. I may be the senator's defense attorney, but both the senator and I want nothing but the truth to come out in that court. So if you know anything at all, to either deny or corroborate that defense, I'd like to...
Which was that Frank had a gun, that he was waiting up there in the dark to ambush the senator, that some people paid him to do the job. What a joke, Mr. Barkley. What a stupid joke. Ask anybody who knows Frank Keller. He never carried a gun, never.
Can you prove that?
I spent enough time with him that I can prove more than that. Besides, I was there when it happened. Remember, Mr. Barkley?
Go on.
I was in the room. I didn't see a thing.
You realize I can have the district attorney subpoena you, force you to come back here and testify.
Testify to what, Mr. Barkley? That I could see through a closed door into the hall? Testify to what? No matter what I say, it wouldn't matter. People already made up their mind. By the time you and the district attorney finish questioning me, well, about my line of work, whether I ever spent any time in jail, do you think there'd be anybody taking my word? Come on, Mr. Barkley. I'd probably wind up in jail for perjury. I'm sorry, Mr. Barkley.
Well, you know the whole story, Counselor. In fact, by now, everyone in the entire state knows the whole story.
Kind of makes you feel good, doesn't it, Hodges? Getting your name in the newspaper? Just like being a celebrity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not that I care. I never looked to be in the public eye.
Oh, no. But you know what interests me? What you told the sheriff. You said that you could just see there was going to be a killing by the look in Judd's eye.
That's right.
Most men I know would have run away from trouble like that. Not right into the teeth of it.
A man shoots as straight as Judd ropes and not much danger of hitting poor little old me.
Besides which, you made darn sure you weren't in the line of fire, right?
All right.
Keller's room's around the bend in the corner. Man can hardly get hit standing near the stairway.
I'm no hero, that's for sure.
Can't get hit. Can't see around that bend either.
What are you driving at?
Just this, Hodges. You never saw Keller coming out of his room, and you never saw him holding a gun either. Do you know why? Because he didn't have one, did he? Did he, Hodges?
I promise you a complete investigation of the mineral rights in this area will be undertaken.
That's fine. Close it off with a form ending. Thank you for your interest in better government, etc., etc. Oh. Sorry, Jared, but some of these letters have to be taken care of.
I understand.
That's if I can stay awake that long. You know, your mother took me for a ride today and really put me through my paces. Don't be so sober, Jared. Keller's girl is, by your own admission, a lady of slightly ill repute.
That's true. But what about our eyewitness, Hodges?
Hodges, I never put much faith in his testimony from the first. He's a publicity seeker. I know the type well. He couldn't possibly have seen Keller's gun. But I saw it.
All right, Judd. Let's put aside what Hodges said, what the girl said. How am I to prove that there was a gun?
Oh, Jared. Before the sheriff got there, how many people? guests of the hotel, townspeople, could have picked up that gun. A souvenir. Something to leave their grandchildren.
That's possible. Let's say for the moment even probable. It still doesn't change the fact that the girl said Keller never carried...
While we're at it, let's get one thing straight. His name was not Keller.
I'm afraid it was, Judd. He was checked out thoroughly. He was born Frank Donald Keller, and he died Frank Keller. He was an orphan. And there's no indication that either he or any member of his adopted family ever ran afoul of you in any way.
I was sure, absolutely certain. Somewhere along the line, that man had a personal grudge against me. His eyes, the way he moved, reminded me of Duke Madden. Right, Salazar?
That's right.
Bet your life that's right. Now listen to me, Jared Barkley, and listen good. I don't care what you found out with your checking.
It wasn't I who did the checking, Judd. It was the district attorney.
Well, you tell the district attorney to check his facts again, because I'll bet my intuition against his facts any day in the week and twice on Sunday. And with Salazar on top of the package, well, that man can remember whether somebody I arrested in Whitewater, Texas in 1855 had a wart on his nose. And if he had one, whether it was on the tip or on the side.
Neither. It happened to be in the middle of his forehead.
I think I'll turn in. Jared, can I see you a minute?
Excuse me, Judd.
You better get some sleep yourself, Jared. Because tonight it sounded like my lawyer's trying to get me hung.
What'd you send for him for? I wanted to see Nick and get my wages.
You ran out without waiting to collect those wages. Why?
Look, I didn't exactly run. I was run out, Mr. Barkley.
What were you doing